Once I always thought I was the most insignificant orchid in the three realms. My spiritual power was weak, my origin ordinary, merely a neglected little flower in the Siming Palace. In the cold and vast water heaven, I grew quietly and lived cautiously. No one noticed my joy, nor cared for my grievance. Timid, tearful, and unremarkable, I was like a speck of dust among countless immortals, easily scattered by the storms of the world. Back then, I desired so little, only peace, stability, and a plain immortal life within my small palace. I never dared to dream of grand encounters, never touched distant fate, nor imagined that one day I would become the sole preference and salvation of the coldest, loneliest moon supreme across the three realms. All encounters in this world are destined. I never meant to intrude on anyone's life, yet I accidentally fell into the Hyoshan Tower and awakened Dongfang Qingchang, sealed for 10,000 years. At that moment, the fate of the three realms and our destinies intertwined irreversibly. The world calls Dongfang Qingchang ruthless, decisive, and bloodthirsty, a demon lord terrifying enough to shake all realms. But only I know, beneath his fierce reputation and cold armor, he is just a lonely soul trapped by fate, bound by chains, deprived of warmth for 10,000 years. Cold and emotionless on the surface, seemingly omnipotent and arrogant over all living beings, deep down he craves true affection and tenderness more than anyone. The heart bond locked our lives together, binding two lonely existences for eternity. At first I feared you, dreaded your ferocity and destruction. Yet through every day and night by your side, I gradually discovered the softness beneath your tough exterior, your clumsy tenderness, your forbearing affection, and your exclusive indulgence only for me. You are the ruler of the moon realm, holding the power over life and war across the world. Yet you bow for me, restrain your violence for me, abandon your dominance for me, and compromise endlessly only for me. You knew nothing of love, yet you gave the purest, most passionate, and unhesitating devotion entirely to this ordinary little orchid. You taught me that love is never dependence or humility, but mutual devotion and salvation. You saved me from trivial loneliness, and I saved you from eternal desolation. I was once a carefree little fairy, ignorant of mortal righteousness and worldly strife. My simplest wish was to stay by your side peacefully, to be your gentle moon lady and live an ordinary, quiet life. Yet fate never grants perfect happiness. I am the goddess of Ceylon, born with the destiny to protect all living beings, to end wars and soothe the sufferings of the world. I struggled endlessly, torn between the one I love more than life and the countless lives of the mortal world. The world says a goddess must love all beings, yet I know deeply. I love the world, but I also love you devotedly. All living creatures are my destiny, while you are my selfish desire, my exclusive preference, the only warmth I want to keep across 10,000 years of loneliness and fate. I could not bear to see the world drowned in blood, nor could I bear to see you trapped in endless chains and solitary torment. I have witnessed your majestic loneliness as a supreme ruler, your unspoken desolation, and your desperate, tender devotion to me. I could not let you bear all sins alone, nor leave you wandering eternally with no one beside you. Therefore I chose to grow and transform, from a timid little orchid into the goddess Ziyun who guards the world and guards you. Gentleness is never weakness, nor purity foolishness. Beneath my fragile appearance lies the firmest heart, the clearest sense of right and wrong, and the most unyielding sincerity. I can sacrifice myself for all beings, and I can defy fate solely for you. When war broke out between immortals and demons, love and righteousness collided, and fate stood before me. I finally understood that true love is never restraint or possession, but fulfillment and protection. To transcend disaster with one's life, and redeem love with one's soul. I did not fear death. What I feared most was leaving you alone in eternal solitude, deprived of warmth and affection, returning to the desolate loneliness of 10,000 years. I feared you would rule the vast moon realm with nothing but endless emptiness and solitary years. Yet I had no choice. My fate was long predetermined, my path sealed. The mission of the Xylan clan and the responsibility of a goddess were mine to uphold. I could only end the war with my life, break your eternal shackles with my soul, and exchange my disappearance for your lifelong peace and the world's tranquility. When I walked toward the Chengying sword, there was no regret in my heart, only endless reluctance. I grieve to leave this beautiful world, this short yet burning life, and most of all, I grieve to leave you, the one who protected me, cherished me, and gave me all his tenderness. Ching Chung, please know I did not abandon you for righteousness. I sacrificed myself to protect you, to free you from strife and fate, to save you from endless hatred and imprisonment, to grant you a lifetime of peace and freedom. The world thinks the Moon Supreme went mad and obsessed for love, but no one knows all my courage, all my persistence, all my fearless devotion was born only for you. You redeemed my lonely soul, warmed my fleeting years, and gave this fragile little orchid the courage to defy heaven, fate, and endless reincarnation. Once I was the timid little orchid who craved stability and only wished to love you through every season. Later I became Goddess Siyun, bearing universal righteousness and protecting all beings. Yet my heart still belongs only to you. My love never wronged the world, nor did it ever wrong you. I guard the three realms as a goddess and love you wholeheartedly as an ordinary lover. If there is an afterlife, I wish to be no goddess, bear no destiny, and care nothing for the mortal world or the three realms. I only want to be the carefree little orchid in Siming Palace, free from heavy responsibilities and painful separations. I only wish to stay with you through every dawn and dusk, through calm and peaceful years, never parting, never suffering, simply accompanying each other forever. Amid all worldly encounters and destined tribulations, my greatest blessing is meeting you, loving you, redeeming you, and being deeply loved by you across the vast three realms. Dongfang Qingchang, though mountains and rivers stretch endlessly and time flows eternally, my love will endure forever, unbroken and undying through all lifetimes. Even after my mortal form faded into the wind and my divine soul scattered across the boundaries of the three realms, every trace of my affection never faded with the passage of time. I turned into the lingering breeze that sweeps through the palaces of the moon realm, into the faint moonlight that spills over the railing of the moon palace, into the subtle spiritual energy that wanders beside you day and night, silently guarding the man who once traded all his arrogance and dominance for a single glimpse of me. I have no physical form, no voice, no mortal breath, yet every wisp of my remnant soul is still firmly tied to your figure, never leaving, never wandering far. I know you spent hundreds of years searching for my trace across every corner of the world. You traversed the bitter cold, snow-capped mountains of the mortal world, wandered the misty and boundless fairylands of the water heaven, knelt alone in the ruins of the Zealand sacred land, and stood silently for countless nights beneath the withered orchid branches. You overturned mountains and rivers, disturbed the order of the three realms, exhausted your divine power and wasted your eternal years, just to retrieve a wisp of my fragmented soul, just to wait for a slim chance of reunion. The world sees your supreme glory, your unshakable authority over all realms, but only I can see the endless desolation hidden beneath your cold brows, the accumulated longing that gnaws at your soul day and night, and the fragile obsession that you never reveal to anyone. You once had the power to control life and death, to reverse yin and yang, to defy the will of heaven, yet you could never reverse the separation between you and me. You could conquer the world, but you could never keep the only orchid that bloomed warmly in your icy life. For thousands of nights after my departure, you sat alone in the empty moon palace, staring at the vacant seat beside you, holding the worn ornaments I once touched, sinking into endless memories and remorse. You removed all the fierce defenses of the moon realm, restrained all your bloodthirsty killing intent, guarded the peace of the three realms alone, and turned the violent and brutal moon realm into a peaceful and prosperous land. Just to fulfill my lifelong wish for peace and tranquility, you became the gentle and righteous Supreme Lord that the world admires. Yet you lost the only person who could laugh and act coquettishly beside you, who could fearlessly hold your hand and warm your cold heart. I have watched you silently for hundreds of years. I watched you turn from a passionate and persistent lover into a quiet and lonely ruler. You no longer lose your temper recklessly, no longer act arbitrarily for love, no longer sink into extreme madness and obsession. You learn to be tolerant, to be calm, to shoulder the responsibilities of the world alone, and to bear all the longing and pain silently. Every time the wind blows across the moon realm, I linger by your ear, wanting to tell you not to grieve, not to wait, not to trap yourself in the endless cycle of memories. Yet my soul is too faint to make a sound, too weak to touch your cheek, and I can only watch you endure the loneliness of eternal waiting alone. Many immortals in the three realms say that time heals all wounds, that eternal years can dilute all loves and hatreds. But I know that some affection is carved into the soul, rooted in the fate of 10,000 years, never fading with the passage of time, never fading with the separation of life and death. Our love is not a fleeting mortal love that fades with the seasons, but a karmic entanglement spanning 10,000 years of past and present lives. It was forged in tribulation, tempered by life and death, purified by separation and longing, and has long become an indelible mark in the cycle of heaven and earth. I still remember every trivial and warm moment we once had. I remember you standing in the moonlight, seriously learning to make sweet osmanthus cakes for me, clumsy and earnest, covered in crumbs yet full of gentle devotion. I remember you holding my hand cautiously, walking slowly through the mortal market, watching the bustling fireworks and mortal prosperity with me, lowering your noble head to accommodate all my trivial joys. I remember when I was wronged and cried, you panicked and lost all your domineering aura, gently wiping my tears with your fingertips, clumsily comforting me, vowing to shelter me from all wind and rain in the world. I remember every gentle gaze you gave me, every exclusive indulgence, every desperate protection, every sincere confession hidden in your silence. Those trivial warmths are not grand and magnificent, but they have supported me through countless lonely separations, making my soul still warm and firm even in scattered form. After I turned into scattered spiritual energy, I finally understood the deepest helplessness in your heart. You are the moon supreme, standing at the pinnacle of the three realms, above all living beings, with no equal in power and status. Yet your greatest weakness and your only fetter has always been me. You can ignore the opinions of the world, defy the laws of heaven, bear the notoriety of thousands of years, and endure the loneliness of endless years. But you can never bear the loss of me. Your strength is for the world, but your softness is only for me. Your dominance is for all living beings, but your compromise is only for me. Your eternity is originally desolate and empty, but I once bloomed a ray of warm light in your long and barren years. And once this light is extinguished, your eternal life will fall into endless darkness again. I have seen you stand alone on the top of the Moon Realm mountain for thousands of years, overlooking the mountains and rivers of the three realms, your figure tall and lonely, with no one to accompany you. The world is peaceful and prosperous as I wished. All living beings live and work in peace and contentment. The wars and disputes that once swept the world have long dissipated with the wind, and the three realms have ushered in the eternal peace I exchanged with my life. Everyone is celebrating the prosperity of the world, singing the kindness and righteousness of the Moon Supreme, but no one knows that the price of this peace is our eternal separation, is your lifelong loneliness and endless waiting. I often wander in the familiar places we once walked. I drift through the small courtyard of Siming Palace where I grew up, where the orchid grass still grows luxuriantly, but there is no longer a timid little flower fairy hiding in the corner. I pass through the mortal town where we once wandered. The streets are still bustling with fireworks, the lanterns are bright and brilliant, but there are no longer two figures walking side by side. No longer you lowering your eyes to look at me tenderly. I linger on the endless wilderness where we once watched the stars. The night sky is still covered with dense stars. The moonlight is still gentle and vast, but the person who once accompanied me to watch the stars all night is now alone, guarding the empty world and the endless longing. Every time I see you sitting alone in the empty hall of the Moon Palace, silently polishing the old ornaments left by me, staring at the vacant position beside you in a daze for a whole night, my scattered soul will surge with endless soreness and reluctance. I want to curl up in your arms like before, want to act coquettishly and tell you not to be sad, want to tell you that I have never left, that I have always been by your side, guarding you silently through every long night and every endless years. But I can't. The gap between life and death is insurmountable. The fate of separation is irreversible, and I can only turn all my thoughts in a gentle breeze, gently brushing your hair and your brows, silently accompanying your long years of loneliness. You have spent hundreds of years looking for me, waiting for me, pinning all your hopes on the faint possibility of reincarnation and reunion. You guarded the entire peaceful world alone, just to keep the promise you once made to me, to protect the world I loved, to wait for the return of the orchid that once bloomed for you. You no longer love power, no longer pursue supremacy. All your persistence and all your persistence are just for a me who has long dissipated in the world. Your eternal life has become a long waiting journey, with no end in sight, no reply in sight, only endless longing and endless loneliness. Sometimes I secretly rejoice that even if I lost my physical form and lost all the traces of mortal existence, your heart has never forgotten me. You remember all our past, all our trivial warmth, all our life and death entanglement. You keep my figure in your heart forever young and bright, forever the timid and lovely little orchid who loved you wholeheartedly. In the long and desolate years after separation, your memories of me have become the only warmth supporting you to move forward, the only sustenance of your eternal life. I know you have long seen through the falseness of the world, the vanity of supremacy, the emptiness of prosperity. All the glory and power in the world are meaningless to you without me by your side. You would rather abandon the supremacy of the three realms, abandon the prosperous mountains and rivers, abandon the eternal life of immortality, just to exchange for an ordinary life with me, to return to the simple and warm days when we depended on each other in the past. But fate is ruthless. It let us meet in tribulation, fall in love in despair, redeem each other in darkness, but cruelly separated us at the moment of peace and perfection, leaving endless regret and longing for eternal life. I have always believed that love can transcend life and death, transcend time and space, transcend fate and reincarnation. Even if my body is destroyed and my soul is scattered, the love between us is solid and eternal, never decaying, never fading. I am the orchid rooted in your soul, the moonlight lingering in your years, the warmth flowing in your eternal life. Even if no one in the three realms remembers our entanglement, even if time erases all our traces, even if reincarnation washes away all our past, my love for you will always exist, firm and unchanging through all lifetimes. I have watched you grow from a lonely and extreme moon supreme into a gentle and responsible ruler. You use your life to guard the peace of the three realms, to fulfill my obsession with worldly tranquility, to atone for the sins of the past, and to protect all living beings I once sacrificed myself for. You have become the most perfect and noble Supreme Lord in the world's eyes. But I know that you have never been complete since you lost me. Your eyes are always hidden with endless loneliness. Your heart is always empty with a vacant position that no one can fill. And your eternal life is always lacking the most important warmth and light. Countless late nights, I lean quietly beside you, watching you close your eyes and rest, watching your brows always slightly furrowed in your sleep, as if you are still trapped in the pain of separation and the longing of missing me. I want to smooth the wrinkles between your brows with my hand, want to warm your cold fingertips again, want to tell you that all the suffering is over, all the tribulations have passed, and you don't have to suffer alone anymore, but I can only stay in the invisible void, silently guarding your sleeping face, accompanying you through every quiet and lonely night. Many people say that sacrifice is the end of love, that separation is the final destination of all entanglements. But I don't think so. My sacrifice is not the end, but the beginning of eternal guardianship. I no longer exist in the form of a mortal fairy, but I integrate myself into every inch of wind and moon in the three realms, into every ray of sunshine and moonlight that falls on you, into every trivial warmth around you. I am with you in all invisible ways, guarding your every day and every night, accompanying your every prosperity and loneliness. I used to long for mortal fireworks, for ordinary companionship, for waking up to see your face and falling asleep with your company. Now I have no mortal form, no way to stay by your side intimately, but I have become the most eternal guardian beside you. No more separation, no more tribulation, no more life and death dilemma between righteousness and love. I can finally guard you purely and peacefully, without burden, without hesitation, without regret, through every endless year of your eternal life. I know you are still waiting, still hoping for a reincarnated reunion. You have guarded the world for hundreds of years, and waited for me for hundreds of years, holding a glimmer of hope in your heart, never giving up, never letting go. I want to tell you not to wait anymore. I don't want you to trap yourself in endless waiting and longing anymore. The years you spend waiting are too long, the loneliness you bear is too heavy, and I can't bear to see you suffer alone anymore. But I also understand your persistence. Just as I once risked my life to protect you, you are willing to spend eternal years waiting for me. Our love has always been mutual redemption and mutual persistence. I would sacrifice my life for your peace, and you would spend eternity waiting for my return. No one is wrong. No one is redundant. All the suffering and persistence are the most sincere proof of our love. If the heaven's way allows reincarnation and fate gives us a chance to meet again, I will definitely find you first. I will no longer be a goddess burdened with destiny, no longer bear the heavy responsibility of guarding the world. I will only be your little orchid, clinging to your side, accompanying you through trivial days, sharing joys and sorrows with you, never leaving, never separating, spending every ordinary and warm day with you until the end of time. If there is no reincarnation, I will also guard you forever. I will turn into the wind that kisses your cheeks, the moon that illuminates your road, the orchid fragrance that lingers around you, accompanying you through the eternal years of mountains and rivers, through the endless prosperity and loneliness of the three realms. I will let you feel my existence all the time, let you know that you have never been alone, that I have always loved you, guarded you, and accompanied you through all eternity. Dongfang Qingcheng, you once said that you are willing to bear all the sins of the world for me, to resist all the wind and rain for me, to give up all supremacy for me. Now I want to tell you that I am willing to turn into eternal years to accompany you, turn into boundless mountains and rivers to guard you, turn into endless tenderness to warm you. My love is not limited to a lifetime of mortal entanglement, nor terminated by the separation of life and death. It spans 10,000 years of past and future lives, penetrates the cycle of heaven and earth, and will never be exhausted or extinguished. The world's prosperity is endless. The years are long and eternal. Mountains and rivers are ever-changing, and all living beings are reincarnated. Only my love for you is firm and unchanging, eternal and immortal. I have loved you in my mortal life, guarded you in my scattered soul, and will accompany you in all future lifetimes. No matter how fate changes, no matter how time passes, no matter how the world rises and falls, I will always be your little orchid, always the one who loves you the most in the three realms, always your only salvation and eternal tenderness.